everybody, and welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, James. Alongside, as always, his name is...
I'm Andy.
He welcome you to join us on his journey as we all become legend of the nerds. Afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon.
Or should I say Mr. Grumpy Pants today, huh?
I'm just so tired. Like I said yesterday, there's just not enough time in the day to get everything done. And I'm still not done everything.
No one's done
So
everything.
I'm 2-3 days behind.
Ugh,
Very tired.
it's a headache, but...
Like last night, after our main event talk later about WrestleMania, I did not go straight to bed. I still had things to do, so about 1 o'clock in the morning when I finally said, screw it, just hit the hay.
I couldn't fall
For
asleep
5
either.
hours I had to get up, so.
I couldn't fall asleep either. Nope.
You didn't do what you said either. I thought you were going to stay up and watch Arrow.
I did.
You did? Oh, well, you had all the TV and all that shut off, and...
Oh, I watch Arrow on my tablet.
Oh, okay.
Because I watch it on the CW network. It's the only place I can get it is on my tablet.
True. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. I used to watch it on my phone, but I was like, this screen's way too small.
That's how I have to watch it right now.
So I moved it on the tablet, and the tablet was a lot better
Yeah.
to watch it on. More convenient, move it around, do what I want with it.
Yeah. Is it, we talked about this last night too. Difficult getting the kids up this morning too after we were all up wicked late, no? You were fine. Everything was fine.
Those kids...
You had the easy morning that you wanted?
Always.
Okay.
Always. Those kids are up before I'm up.
Well, they are
Up
kids.
before I'm up,
They're
and
always
they're
up.
just full of jumping beans in them. You know, they're ready to go.
Glad they were jumping up for joy and getting up. I'm stumbling, getting up, hit the shower, and it's like, I could go back to bed still.
But hopefully things will slow down. Just gotta breathe in. Just gotta breathe through it. You'll be fine, right?
Gotta go to bed early tonight. That's the whole thing.
Right after the show, just go home, go to bed.
No, I told you I got still stuff to do.
Yeah, because you're teaching and all that stuff. How's that going? Still going good? Still going strong?
Oh yeah, every day. Every day I get there. I mean, they gave me a list. Get in there. Can you work all these days? Filled up a post-it, and the very last date is going into now May. So I already got dates a month ahead of time.
That's perfect, right?
So. It is and
work.
it isn't, but because the school year's coming up, so got to hurry up and find something different to do for work.
Yeah, right? Well, anyway, we have a huge episode today, all full of wrestling talk. I know we do a wrestling talk in the beginning, then we do Flareverse, so on. Which changed up a little bit. We'll do Flareverse and all the other stuff first, and then we'll do, different wrestling company talk. Jump to our main event, WrestleMania, later on.
Let's do it.
Sound good to you?
Sounds perfectly fine.
All right. So let's jump on to the Flareverse. I know you're a week behind.
I am a week behind.
Okay, so what was the last episode of Supergirl? You
Supergirl.
saw?
That is when the Mon-El's parents show up, the Daxamites.
Okay.
So you find out of Kevin Sorbo and what's her name,
Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher, what their roles are.
Yep.
They are the king and queen of Daxam, and that Mon-El has lied to Kara this entire time because he said he was just a palace guard when he was the prince, and she knows that the prince is this horrible man.
Now, in all honesty, you saw that coming, right?
Yes and no. I didn't know if those were going to be his parents. I thought they might be some Daxamites maybe coming to get him, like some royal army people.
But did you call it he was going to be the prince, though?
No, I didn't think
No?
he'd be the prince.
No, not at all?
No. I thought even maybe they're there to kill him or something.
Okay. I thought they might have been bounty hunters, yeah.
Yeah. So we had that in it, and then we also had in there Wynn's girlfriend betrays him.
Yep.
Uses him to steal a painting. So it was a nice little added touch because her character they really haven't done much with, and now you find out exactly a little bit more about her background and everything. Because I think she's going to be a little bit more bigger character going down the road.
Think she'd be important coming on?
Yeah. So.
All right.
And Guardian, I mean, what can I say about Guardian? I'm loving the character of Guardian. Gets in that massive fight with the that super strong alien.
Yep.
So, yeah. And then it ends, Supergirl ends with the musical guy who...
Yes!
Kara in a coma.
Yes!
Sets up for, unfortunately, the worst episode of Flash ever.
For you, maybe. For the entire planet, it was the greatest Flash episode ever.
Before we move on, though, we had to mention... So the whole Kara thing, though, I totally forgot. So she finds all this out, and the Daxamite King and Queen treat her like a pile of crap.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta expect that to happen anyways.
Oh yeah, the whole Daxamite and Kryptonian rivalry.
Yeah.
And they want to take Mon-El away to recreate Daxam, and he doesn't go, but Kara can't forgive him, and they break up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a given anyways.
Given that they're breaking up.
No, that, the Dax was gonna treat her like crap anyways.
Okay.
It was obvious.
Now, do you see Terry Hatcher and Kevin Sorbo's characters staying for a while, or is this a one and done kind of thing?
Considering I'm only one episode ahead of you, I am not gonna get into that.
Okay.
So I don't want to spoil anything for you unless you want me to.
All I know is about the villain that's going to happen. Oh no, that's Flash with Abracadabra.
Yes.
Okay. But no, don't.
Okay, I won't ruin it because I already know
I'd like to find out.
Yes.
Moving on to the worst episode of Flash ever.
Flash musical was absolutely fantastic, Andy.
I tried.
I don't know why you didn't like this episode.
I tried to watch it like 3 times, and I fell asleep 2 or 3 times trying to watch it.
Well, this is a good episode because it was a homage to Grant Gustin's past.
Okay.
Because he used to play in Glee.
Yes.
He sang all the time.
Yes.
The villain was his best friend in Glee too. So they both came from background dancing and singing background in their old career. So it was nice to see those two get back together in one show, in a different show, both singing and dancing and stuff. So that was kind of cool. I forgot her name, her real name, Kara. She's got a nice voice on her.
Why do I think it's Chloe Bennett? But that might be the chick from Shield.
Yeah.
From,
no, but yeah, you know, top it though. She's got killer pipes on her.
Yeah. Well,
She can definitely sing.
that and the guy who plays Professor Stein.
Yep.
Because in a previous Legends of Tomorrow episode, he sings in an episode too.
He can sing, and Joe, he's done in the past too, and he can sing as well.
Yep.
So it's really nice how many characters they brought from the whole Flareverse into this one episode to make a really cool show. This is a real good episode. I don't know why you can get into it.
It's just one of those musical episodes.
You're not into the singing and dancing stuff.
No, not really. I didn't like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer one either. So.
Oh, that was fantastic, man.
But we'll talk a little bit more about the musical, but let's get into what happened in the episode.
No. Keep moving on. We have a huge episode.
Whatever.
Huge episode. WrestleMania was 5 hours long,
Okay.
So we've got to get to that sooner than later. Arrow, what do you remember from Arrow?
So I didn't watch all of it. I'm missing the last 10 minutes, but
Okay.
it wasn't really an Arrow episode I cared too much about. It was more not present Arrow, whereas I'd say at least 40 minutes of the entire hour episode were all finishing up Oliver in the Bratha.
It was weak, but it was weak to make up for this week's episode. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's weaker that episode. This episode was good. It was intense.
I really thought that Prometheus, when he shows that he snaps Evelyn's neck, I really thought he actually did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Where's Arsenal? Are we going to have now a new Arsenal? Or
Yeah.
But,
It was a good episode. This week's episode you should enjoy. Stephen Amell, that guy can act, man. He can go from, action star to drama star so fast. This last episode you missed, you haven't caught up yet, was a drama episode. It was real good, though. You should enjoy that a lot.
And Legends I didn't watch, so I'm 2 weeks behind Legends if they had 2 episodes.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely watch Legends. You don't want to miss either of those episodes.
I have to mention real quick before we move on, there is a lot of fan talk going on the internet talking about how Legends of Tomorrow may be the best CW DC show right now.
I wouldn't call it the best. It is really good.
They've definitely jumped from season 1 to season 2 in the ratings.
They took the bar up for next level. They definitely did. It's not the best show, but they definitely took it up to the next level on all their acting like that. They did a real good job. The plot line's really good. I've noticed in the last couple episodes you missed, they're taking Heatwave, Rory. His character has moved from dead weight to wow, he's a player in this show.
The one thing I know that happens in this upcoming episode that I missed because I watched the preview at the end of the episode is that Leonard Snard comes back, Captain Cold.
Yep, he does. Yep. And that transition there, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I mean, we all knew that because there was talk about him becoming a new member of the Legion of Doom.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But.
So definitely catch up on those. You're gonna love them.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's our Flareverse right now. Box office heroes. What do you think?
Let's do it. I don't have my notes today, but I do have a list of movies that have come out.
All right, go 3, 2, 1.
Number 3, I am going with Chips.
Okay.
Number 2, I will go with Ghost in the Shell.
All right.
And number 1, I have to go with the Power Rangers.
Okay. Number 1 spot. How much money?
Was it the Power Rangers?
How much money do you think?
If it was the Power Rangers, I'm going with $53 million.
Okay. I'll give you the list right now. You got only one movie in that correct.
Let me guess. The Boss Baby is in there.
You are gonna hate this list, Andy.
Oh.
You're gonna hate this list this week. I love it. Number 3, Japanese anime remake, Ghost in a Shell. Came number 3.
Wait, Ghost in the Shell is not an anime.
It is a Japanese anime.
I thought that was the
Nope.
Scarlett Johansson movie.
Yeah. It's based off the anime.
Oh, but it's not an anime.
No,
though, is what
it's
I'm saying.
not. It's live action.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah,
based off the Japanese anime.
Yeah. When you were saying that, I was in my head thinking it's an animation.
Nope.
I'm like, no, it's not.
Nope. It's live action. It's based off the Japanese anime. It came in at 19 million.
That was number 3.
Yep.
So I got that right. Okay.
Number 2, Beauty and the Beast.
Still.
At 47.
Wow.
5. Not bad, right? And
The Boss
number
Baby.
1,
It's gonna be the Boss Baby.
The Boss Baby. 49 million.
It's an animation. I'm okay with it, Boss Baby, because it's an adult animation. Really.
Do you know why I care that much? It's Baldwin. That's why.
True.
When you get one of the Baldwin brothers, one of the 50 million Baldwin brothers in a movie,
Yeah.
it's gonna sell something.
I will say because we do our shows here every 2 weeks.
Yes.
If we did them week by week, I guarantee Power Rangers Chips last week, because it came out last week, probably would have made it. I'm guessing, but
Think so?
I would think. I mean, the whole hype over Power Rangers. I mean,
That came out what, last Friday?
yeah, last Friday, a week ago,
Hmm.
the 24th. So yeah, I'm happy Chips isn't in the top 3, because
Did you ever watch the original show?
yeah,
Okay. And did you watch the movie yet or no?
no,
Are you going to?
Maybe when it comes out, time to rent.
Maybe when it comes out time to rent. You go to movies these days?
Yeah. Oh, last time I went was January.
Where do you rent movies?
I rent Redbox.
Oh, Redbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Redbox. That's
I
right.
do want to go.
Redbox.
I do want to go because I was telling you the drive-in's going to be reopening soon.
Yeah, that's
And,
right. You're saying that.
They're opening on the 14th for the Fate and the Furious.
Yes.
So I'm really excited. I really want to try to go see the Fate and the Furious.
Fate and Furious? What's the opening weekend box office number for that?
Ooh, 124,000.
You going that high, huh? Wow.
Yes.
I'm gonna go 70. 70 mil on the opening. I don't think it's gonna be that high yet.
I mean, it's because I'm going off. This is the first one really after the whole Paul Walker thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really had to. They even talked about on TV. They really had to change it around. That's why Dom's a villain. They had to go in a different direction.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's making people excited.
Your prediction on that? Do you really think he is a villain, or do you think he's double agent?
I think he's being blackmailed.
Yeah. I think.
The best thing to come out of the trailer for this too, because I've been watching a couple more trailers. You remember in I think it's Fast 6. So that's when Letty finally comes back, and she has amnesia. She shoots Dom. Dom says, "You're not going to shoot me," and she shoots him. She says the exact same thing to him in the trailer for this one. "You're not going to shoot me," and he shoots her.
Yeah.
Loved it. So
That could be an Easter egg of some sort. You know, who knows? Maybe that is his hint to her. I'm not really evil.
my hope is, because I don't think they're going to open up all 4 screens. It'll probably just be the one.
Oh, it probably will be.
But my hope is that they play Fate and the Furious and Beauty and the Beast, because I still haven't seen Beauty and the Beast, and
Right.
everyone's telling me to go see it.
I mean, with movies that are out, they could do it. They could go. I mean, they could have Ghost in a Shell and Boss Baby on another screen.
Yep.
Who knows? You know.
True.
So I guess we'll see what happens. That prediction is pretty good on the Fate and the Furious.
I'm going to change it now that I'm thinking, but I still think it's going to hit 6 digits. I will go an even 100. I'll stick with even 100.
All right.
That way it kind of gives me a little up and down.
What else going on? Any other news, nerd stuff that caught your eye?
No, I mean, if you want to say nerd stuff, fantasy baseball is a nerdy thing.
Absolutely it is.
So if everyone's watching, I mean, I got my Boston Red Sox hat on because it's opening day today for Boston. Yesterday technically was opening day because they had 3 games. But
Home game?
What was that?
Home game?
For Boston, yes. Last time I checked, which was an hour ago, it was still tied 0-0. So I don't know.
Playing?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Pirates. Arr.
And, but yeah, I mean, fantasy baseball. I love it. I've been playing for like 10 years. Played fantasy football last year, which was amazing.
Make any good money?
Not fantasy football. We do it for free, just for fun.
Do it for free.
But in
I'll join that league.
in fantasy baseball, we always play for winnings. Usually, first place gets like somewhere around $150. Then second place little. But our league's been dwindling down from players. Now we're trying to rebuild it back up.
That'd be fun. We should do some sort of like fantasy pro wrestling thing.
They do have them.
Do we?
There are.
We should do it though.
But
how's that work?
I don't know. I'll have to figure it all out.
Okay.
But this year we're just playing for the trophy, and there's just a little money. The winner will get $80. So still a little bit of money, but you play for fun just to get that trophy.
Right.
Last 3 years, I've come in second twice and lost to the person in first place by only 1 point.
By 1 point.
So I am bound and determined I'm winning that flipping trophy.
All right.
I want it. And if I win it, it's going to be here on the show.
For fantasy baseball?
Yes.
All right.
We'll find out the winners at the end of September.
Tell you what, just for fun, because you guys know me, I don't like sports. Or I do, but I just don't watch them, hardcore like you do.
Yeah.
If you want, when football comes around, I'll join the football fantasy thing.
See if you know what to do.
Well, you can walk me through it. Show me some tips, and, do it on air. You do a fancy football lesson right here in the studio.
If we did one on air, the hard problem is it's like you're on your computer and people who's in your league also are on their computers at home.
Yeah.
And you're doing it right there, and you have like 60 seconds each time to make your picks and constantly.
Okay.
So if we did, it'd be a live episode, it'd probably be a Saturday. You'd have to not work Saturdays.
Oh, we can't do that.
Exactly. So
we'll think of something. It'd be kind of fun.
If I can look up the fantasy of wrestling, we'll do that.
All right.
So
That'd be kind of fun too. What else do you have going on?
Nothing besides that.
All right.
I haven't been doing my my homework here.
Like I said, Andy, it's a huge episode. Let's get right to it because WrestleMania was last night, and it was like 50 hours long.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you
on top of that, what we're gonna do? Get Wrestling Talk now. Let's go TNA first.
Yes.
Then let's do anything else you have going on.
There's no lucha yet. They're still on break.
All right.
But TNA Wrestling Talk. On this show, I mentioned TNA said they made an announcement that she is coming. This big thing, she is coming. Now, if someone told you she is coming to the company, what would you think she means?
Awesome Kong.
Okay, so a female wrestler, though, obviously.
Yeah. I would definitely go female wrestler.
My thought was Paige from WWE because Alberto De La Patron or whatever his name is.
Right.
They're dating. They're together. They live together. He's in TNA now. Maybe she flopped and went there too. It's no wrestler. It ends up being Karen Jarrett. You know how upset I was when that happened? I am so hyped. The end of the show's happening. They're like, here she is. Karen Jarrett.
Karen Jarrett.
Whoop-dee-doo.
Did she come out to the ringside?
No, she came right out into the ring to do a promo.
What was the pop? Was there a pop at all?
Basically, with this whole talk about changing TNA back to the way it used to be, so she's helping out rebuilding TNA back into its glory days.
Because she knows.
EC3 comes out, and I think EC3 is going to turn heel now because he basically talks about how his name means something here because he's a Carter.
He's still playing that card?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
So you have the whole Carter Jarrett thing going on. And it all ends with Josh Matthews, because he's the heel announcer, getting in the ring, ripping on Karen Jarrett, and she just slaps him across the face, show ends. Because the fans are yelling and doing hashtag fire Josh, because they want Josh Matthews fired from TNA. And she playing to the fans how that's on her list of things to do.
So I'm not watching TNA at all.
Well, there's no way you can, really.
Josh Matthews was a pretty good announcer. They turned him heel,
Yes.
like the Michael Cole kind of heel.
Yep.
All right, so that sounds
Exactly.
lame. He doesn't seem like he could play a good heel.
Yeah, it's you got Josh Matthews as a heel, and it is.
It's terrible.
It's kind of bad.
All
You have the Pope in the middle. He plays the kind of like the Jerry Springer of the announce table, and you have Jeremy Borash, who's now an announcer. They just announced, and he's the face.
Okay.
So, and I mean, the only other thing I can say in TNA, I found out that Madison Rayne is married to Josh Matthews. And like you said, what a lucky man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But Karen Jarrett, let's talk about her for a second so people understand who Karen Jarrett is.
Oh, do we?
Just a quick history. Let's make out this right. She wasn't always Karen Jarrett.
No, she was.
She was a Karen Angle, right?
Exactly.
So when Kurt Angle was in the company, we had a huge rivalry going on between him and the great Jeff Jarrett, right?
Yeah, well, because what happened was Karen left Kurt, and she was actually kind of cheating on Kurt with Jarrett. That's the whole thing. And when all that finished up, they end up using the whole storyline to promote to do a nice promo and stuff with it.
So, I mean, I'm not really sure what kind of history she has or what kind of credentials she has to take a business like this.
She was horrible.
Anything?
She was horrible when she was there before, and still horrible. What really irritates me is she comes in and talks about how she goes, my family built this company, and da-da-da, my family. I go, no. Jeff Jarrett's family built the company. You just married into it.
In a way, she is correct.
She is, but she married
The
into
Jarretts
it.
did build the company.
Yes.
She had nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
And here's my problem with TNA right now. Is
But
that
the way she talked about it, the way it came out, she presented it, it's like she was there since day one.
Yeah, which is BS. My problem with TNA right now is the management area, what they're doing. When I started watching TNA, you had Dixie Carter. Never seen, which is fine. Then you had Hulk Hogan trying to run it, him and Bischoff.
Horrible.
Then she comes back, Dixie Carter comes back,
comes
bad.
a heel.
And then you had MVP jump in, which he did a very bad job. And then she comes back again, did a very bad job. Now this Karen Jarrett's coming in doing a bad job. It seems like they're trying to get big names to run this company. What they don't understand, they are not a McMahon. It's not going to work.
Well, what they're doing is she's back, but she's kind of playing the role of, I think, that. They showed you some of the people they've brought back who are behind the scenes running the show too, who were the same people that helped build TNA into what it is today.
Oh,
or what it was back then.
I forgot Billy Corgan too. He started running it as well. So all these names, sometimes repeated, they just are not taking the company where it needs to be.
See, what happened was, if you're running the company, you shouldn't, like you said, be seen.
Yeah.
When you start becoming someone who's being seen, you want that limelight also at the same time.
Yeah.
And that takes away from the show.
I mean, Vince McMahon only shows up either when needed or when he's bored.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with the McMahon family, though, is they can do that where they can take some limelight because they also get involved a lot in matches.
Absolutely.
Look at Shane. I mean,
Yep.
love Shane matches.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they just stop switching ownership.
Yep.
You're just killing the potential of the company altogether.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm liking Anthem Sports, who really owns TNA now. You don't see someone from Anthem anywheres.
Yeah.
But they're getting the people who produced TNA Impact the way it should be back.
Right. But I think, maybe next show we'll get really into TNA history more. How's that sound? That sounds like a good idea, right?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right, let's get anything else?
Let's move on.
WrestleMania 33.
WrestleMania 30. This is our anniversary show, we should say. It has now been officially 2 full years. Yes, we're in season 3, but it's been officially 2 years since we started. A little more than 2 years, actually. We started March 29th of 2015.
Yeah.
So we always decide WrestleMania we have to do one every year because it's the anniversary show.
Of course.
Go back to episode 1. It was WrestleMania. It's how it started between us.
It's a half-hour episode, too.
Yes.
Ah,
Just imagine if we could have done an hour that day.
I know, right?
I think we should have because we tried to cram it in too much. But
You tried to cram it in, didn't work out. So do you want to do pre-show stuff?
yeah, because I ended up watching 2 of the 3.
Okay.
So its show starts off with the Cruiserweight title, Neville versus Austin Aries. I expected a lot more. I didn't get what I wanted. There were some great moves, don't get me wrong, but it was only a 15-minute match.
Okay.
And the way this rivalry has turned into, I was really expecting a lot more to come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Aries hits I believe, the 450 splash on Neville, goes for a pin. Neville kicks out, but then he does the right thing. What should you do the second the ref counts 1, 2, and he kicks out? Should you get up and stand and complain, or what should you actually be doing?
If I'm kicking out, or if I'm doing the pin?
If you went into the pin
Okay.
and your opponent just kicked out, what should you do? Sit there like, oh my God, he kicked out, or...
I would get my composure and keep on the opponent.
Exactly. Aries did that. Second Neville kicks out, he then backflips into his submission, and I'm waiting for Neville to tap. What's Neville do? So Aries came back from an eye injury. He had a busted eye socket.
Oh, that stinks.
Right into the eyes, raking of the eyes to break the hold. And Aries can't see. Neville goes for the red arrow. 1, 2, 3. So,
Neville won that?
yeah, Neville wins. Like I said, I was just expecting more.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't get a chance to watch the pre-show, so
Nope.
we can probably go through them pretty quick. The one I didn't watch was Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin. This was only an 11-minute match. This rivalry's been going on for since Elimination Chamber, even before that.
Yeah, of
I
course.
would have thought this match, there might have been a stipulation, it might have been a little longer. We should mention this match actually got changed. It was supposed to be during the main show, but it got pushed back to the pre-show so that the SmackDown Women's Division title match, which was a 6-pack challenge, could happen during the main show, which we'll get to a little later.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch this match, but Dean Ambrose beats Baron Corbin, retain his title. I'm glad because I hate Baron Corbin. I don't think he can wrestle to save his
do you think
life.
it's fair to take the prestigious IC title and throw it on the pre-show? I mean, that title's got a lot of history, and it's not putting it on the main event.
Well, let's look. I mean, you look at the other matches. Which one are you going to put besides that women's title back on the pre-show? Would you put any of those other matches in the pre-show?
After getting at the end of the show.
Let me just say it was the last match of the pre-show, so it really was the last match, and then WrestleMania began.
Right.
So, the best match out of the pre-show was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I love this because we love Battle Royals.
Yeah, of course.
So it was 33 men. The favorites to come out of this were either Big Show becoming a 2-time Battle Royal winner, or what's his name, Braun Strowman. Starts off.
Braun Strowman was a favor in this?
Oh, everyone thought Braun Strowman was going to win the whole thing.
It's terrible.
Braun and Big Show, it starts out, they literally each eliminate maybe 5 people each.
Okay.
Then Braun eliminates Big Show. And after that, the remaining 20 superstars all gang up on Braun and throw him over. Thank God.
Yeah.
So really, the only big guy left, really, if you classify as big guys, is Mark Henry. He eventually gets eliminated.
Mark Henry's a big guy.
Final 4. I predicted one of the final 4, and I'm glad he made it. Final 4 were... Well, I forgot who all 4 were, but... So final 3 was Jinder Mahal, which was a very shocking surprise.
Yeah,
You even said last time you saw Jinder, he is now jacked.
He is.
One of my favorites, Mojo Rawlings.
Yep.
He's Zack Ryder's tag team partner. And the new name, I forget his name, but he's from NXT. He's in Eric Young's faction called Sanity. It's this big 350-pound guy from Belfast, England.
Okay.
And Mojo eliminates him, the guy from Belfast. And the thing I hate is during the match, Jinder Mahal's on the outside of the ring, and he notices a celebrity, if you want to call this guy a celebrity. And it's Rob Gronkowski. And if people don't know who that is living in this area, you're living under a rock, I think.
I'm under a rock.
Yeah, well, you don't watch football, too. He's the tight end for the crappy New England Patriots.
Crappy New England Patriots.
Hey, it's our show. I can say what I want. Let me just say, I'm surprised that the Patriots let him do this because the guy is injury prone. That's the
Oh, is
thing.
he?
Yeah. So you're letting this guy who didn't basically play all last year because of injury get in a WWE ring?
Now, why would they do this? Knowing, Cole Harley knowing, Steve Amell is in the stadium too.
Well, what gets me too is why'd you do Gronk? Because it's not even in a New England state.
Yeah.
It's in Florida.
I mean, if they did like the Dolphins, that makes sense. But knowing that Steve Amell has been at ring before, he was at WrestleMania, why not put him in that role?
What would have made it great was they said the last time Big Show was in the Citrus Dome for WrestleMania, it was him versus Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah, remember that.
Mayweather in the ring would have been amazing, kind of thing. But yeah, so Jinder Mahal comes out, grabs Gronk's soda or water, whatever he has, starts chugging it, and then splashes it in his face. So if you don't know a little about Gronkowski, he's this party guy too. So he likes to party all the time. So he jumps over the barricade like an idiot. What's security going to do? The right thing. They jump right on top of him and stop him.
Yeah.
He breaks security, gets into the ring, gets down in his three-point stance, and tackles Jinder Mahal. Mojo Rawley, his background, he's also a former football player. He played at the University of Maryland. And so I don't know where Gronk played. So I don't know if he played at Maryland. Maybe that's where they know each other. Who knows? So they start partying that he did this and everything. So Mojo tells him, get out of the ring. I got to finish this. Takes care of Jinder Mahal. Mojo Rawley wins the Andre the Battle Royal, which I'm happy that he won it. But yeah, apparently the big thing is, coming out of this was the whole Gronk thing. How could the Patriots let him do that? He's coming off injury.
It makes no sense. It's a dumb spot for that. One, like you said, it's not a New England state. So I don't know why they would do that at all. Two, he is injury prone, like you said. So I don't know why he would do that.
I was hoping he'd get injured just so I could
He has no experience in that ring at all. The better call to put in a better spot than that would be Steve Amell, wouldn't it? I mean, how good of a spot would that be?
You know what would have been better? They should have just thrown Tom Brady in there. Let him get hurt. It's even better. I would have laughed even harder.
Anyways,
moving on.
That's the pre-show.
That's the pre-show. Let's get to the better part, the main event of WrestleMania. I want to skip down the ladder here to the reason Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose's matches got switched. It was originally supposed to be the six-pack challenge for the SmackDown Women's title. You even said it makes sense that their match should have been on the main show because Naomi, hometown is in Orlando. She wins the match, becomes the SmackDown Women's Champion. You said it's proper to have someone who's wrestling at a WrestleMania in their hometown or even any other show to be wrestling in their hometown in the bigger stage.
Yeah.
And it made sense, too, because I even mentioned, how can they do her entrance if it's bright out during the day? They waited till it's like 11 o'clock at night, and it's pitch black, and they can turn the black lights on.
It's done well.
So it was only like a 5-minute match. I hate these type of matches. Six-pack challenge, first to get a pinfall. It just looks sloppy.
It did look sloppy.
Make it an elimination.
There were no spots in this match. That was the problem. If you have that many people in a ring, you need to have spots for the storyline to progress.
Yeah.
There was no spots in this match. It was just, a giant cluster.
And the biggest cluster herself, Carmella.
Yes. And actually, that was actually the only spot, wasn't it?
Well, actually,
Carmella and her little lapdog getting in the ring.
There was a bigger cluster with James Ellsworth.
Yeah, that was the only spot in the entire match.
Thank you, Becky Lynch. Thank you for suplexing James Ellsworth.
Yeah.
We both agreed. Great thing that came out of this was Alexa Bliss. The way she was acting, stomping on Carmella, get out of my ring. Natalya jumps in, no way, and kind of rolls out of the ring.
You know my feelings about the diva wrestlers, women wrestlers, what they call themselves now?
The women's superstars.
For some reason, I am digging Alexa Bliss. There's something about her persona that makes me feel like she belongs in this ring.
Since she's turned heel back in NXT, she's progressed as a woman wrestler.
Yeah. Carmella has no right to be in that ring at all.
Not yet.
I don't think she ever deserves to be in that ring.
She was only in NXT for not even a year.
Yeah.
You got to see for the first time your girl Mickie James come back. She's been back for a while, but you finally got to see her wrestle again in WWE ring. Any suggestions, pointers that you saw out of it? I mean, or were you just happy to see Mickie back?
She was flawless as always. You know, like I said, it's hard with that kind of group of people in that ring. You know, there's really not much you can do. So what Mickie did was just, professional work like she always does, and she looked great. She looked real good.
Moving on, the very first match of the WrestleMania after the previews, to me, was the best match of the night, the very first one. And that was Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles. Sorry. Like I said, my bones hurt. I got to adjust myself here.
Of course.
At the beginning of WrestleMania, you can't say enough about last year's WrestleMania, the biggest one ever, over 100,000 fans in Dallas. And that was an amazing WrestleMania. It's hard to top something great. They did something great with this WrestleMania where they put on amazing matches in the beginning to get your attention. Because towards the end, I mean, we even were saying at the end of the show, getting towards midnight, people were tired.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Well, here's the thing. That opening match is the match that sets the tone for the entire show.
Yes.
So if you don't have a good opening match, you're not going to have a good show. Mm-hmm. People need to be into it from the very beginning, otherwise you're going to lose interest big time.
And I mean,
putting Shane as the opening match set the tone for the entire show. Yeah. I love the entire opening show. It was awesome. The first 4 matches were fantastic.
So a 20-minute match, and if people don't know how this match is set up, I mean, the little rivalry that was going on for the last month, but a week before WrestleMania, AJ coming out and saying to Shane, this isn't going to be your typical match.
No.
Shane is used to hardcore matches. He said, we're having a singles match. You can't wrestle that. Shane pulled out so many counters for AJ and submissions and wrestling moves. It was so great. And then AJ's the one trying to be like Shane, bringing in steel trash cans and everything. Yep. What stood out to me were the counters. AJ goes for a 450 splash, and Shane counters it into the triangle choke. Mm-hmm. Amazing. And then even when AJ's trying to pull off a Shane coast to coast, Shane gets up and throws the trash can at him in midair.
Yeah.
And then gets up and does coast to coast. I mean, this match was flawless. I really didn't see any mistakes in this match.
Very few. I mean, it looked real crisp,
Mm-hmm. If you want to chime in, I mean...
No, I mean, you're doing great. This match was good. It was set up well because you have AJ, who is a high flyer, Shane, who's a high flyer. Mm-hmm. Those two kind of styles work well together.
I will say Shane needs to stop this because with what's the one thing Ric Flair can't ever perform? Do you remember?
The list might be short to tell you what he can do.
Going to the top of the rope and actually pulling off a move.
Yeah.
Shane's the same way now at WrestleMania, where he shouldn't be jumping off things onto the announce tables because he's missing all the time.
Yeah.
He jumped off Hell in a Cell. What's Taker do? He rolls out of the way. Shane goes for the table.
Yeah.
Puts AJ on the table, and he tries to jump off the top rope to the table. AJ rolls out, and Shane goes through the table. Needs to stop it.
Yeah, he does.
So we all predicted it, and I think everyone did. AJ Styles was going to beat Shane McMahon.
Of course.
And it happened.
Yeah.
Moving on, which I think this is one of your favorite matches. Kevin Owens versus your boy Chris Jericho for the United States Championship.
How good of a match was this, Andy?
I mean, it was a little shorter, but what helps in the match is also not just the wrestling, but the way you present yourself and the way you handle promos.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to cut you off because I think to bring this up to you. You want me to bring this up to you about that last match between Shane and AJ Styles.
Okay.
Just for the record, Shane McMahon did actually win that match if there's proper reffing going on. If there's proper reffing going on, and that ref actually knew what he was doing, AJ Styles was counted out.
Yes. Why don't you explain this?
So it was in that spot where Shane dived off the top rope into the announcement table.
Yes.
Right? They were wrestling down there. He gets his breath, he gets back up. I'm not sure what he did to AJ to keep him off the ring set, but Shane jumped into the ring.
Well,
the count was at 3. He gets in. 4. AJ gets on the ring apron, not in the ring.
yeah. What it was AJ now throws Shane back in, and now AJ wants to do his finisher, which is the phenomenal forearm, where he springboards and jumps off.
Yep.
So he's standing there waiting for Shane to stand up.
He never actually got into the ring. If you're outside the ring, you must get your body inside the ropes into the ring to stop that 5 count, or a 10 count.
Yes.
If you don't, you're still counted out. The ref was at 9. He was going to say 10. AJ did not get in that ring. He should have been counted out.
Exactly, because we've seen all the time where people are trying to slide in at the last second,
Yes.
and half their body might be in the ring, but their full
That
body.
one time that Big Show lost that match, half his body was in the ring, half was out. He lost by count out.
Yeah.
Why did the ref let this slip?
It's something you are going to have to contact them and ask
It's
yourself.
the lazy refereeing I cannot stand. And AJ should have known better. He should have jumped in that ring, then jumped back out.
Yeah.
He should have done that, but he didn't.
Now, would you say it's because it's the referee in you being a referee that gets your blood boiling even more than,
Yes.
let's say, you weren't?
Yes. Because it's not just the wrestlers that move the match along.
Mm-hmm.
That referee is key point to moving a match along.
Okay.
If that ref is not in the right spots at the right times, the match goes downhill big time.
Yeah.
And he missed the call. And in front of 75,000 people?
75,245.
Yeah. So
Good with numbers.
yeah. So I just want to bring that up that Shane actually did win that match by default.
Yes, that was with still 5 minutes to go.
So Shane McMahon, congratulations for winning your match against AJ. Unofficially.
Yeah, so moving back to the Chris Jericho Kevin Owens match. My whole thing is I love the setup to the match with the whole we're best friends, the backstabbing, then with Jericho talking about how much of Kevin Owens used to be a fan of Jericho's. I mean, those were hilarious things.
Yeah.
Jericho puts the walls on him a minute into the match.
Yes.
How funny would it have been if he tapped out right there and then?
Yeah.
You didn't get to see this because you were attending to the children, and I told you about it, but Kevin Owens goes for a frog splash, and Jericho puts his knees up, so he counters. Jericho then jumps up, goes for the lion salt. Kevin Owens puts his knees up, counters.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens then goes up for the Swanton Bomb, and that gets countered. It was great.
It's counter after counter after counter, yeah.
These guys know each other so well because they've been tagging for the last year.
And Jericho would make a good match. He always makes a good match.
I'm trying to remember more things that came out of this. I can't seem to. I remember a couple of things that happened on the outside of the ring, I want to say. Like a power bomb on the apron might have still happened.
Yep, it did, yep.
Positive. Anything you can remember? It's hard.
It's hard because I have so many matches that we have to go through in such a limited amount of time right now, you know, so.
I'll just get into it then. Kevin Owens, we predicted it was going to happen.
Yep.
Beat Jericho for the U.S. title. Does this mean the end of Jericho going back on tour?
I've heard nothing about Fozzy yet.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Maybe a retirement?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Jericho's time to get in the Hall of Fame. Who knows?
All right. Moving on, another Raw match. We had the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the women's title. Champion Bayley versus Charlotte, your girl Charlotte. We know how much you love her. Sasha Banks and, unfortunately, Nia Jax found her way into the match.
This could have been taken off the show. They could have moved this one to the pre-show.
The pre-show?
Yeah. They could have.
I could have seen that.
Have one female match in pre-show, one in the big show.
Yeah. Nia Jax didn't deserve to be in this match. Yes, she showed a little something here and there because it ended up having to be the other three gang up on her, which we saw some pretty decent triple. Usually you have what do they call them? When you not double move, but a I forget what it is. But the three other divas tripled up on her. We saw some great things out of that. Nia gets eliminated first, maybe 2 minutes into the match.
And the funniest part of the match is when Charlotte is like, high five.
Exactly. I mentioned to you in this match what I thought was horrible out of Nia, and this is, again, why I think Nia's crap and shouldn't have come up into the main roster yet. She throws all 3 opponents out of the ring.
Yeah.
And she runs into them, whoop-de-doo. Then just stands there in the ring waiting for them to come back in for another minute or two. I'm like, get your butt out of the ring, throw them into the ring, and do more damage.
She's so green, it's not even funny. She should not have been in that match at all. Mm-hmm. Because she should have thrown 2 outside of the ring and kept 1 in the ring.
Yeah. Moving on to that in that match, next is elimination of Sasha Banks.
Yep. Which is way too bad.
Yep. So it ends up being Bayley and Charlotte.
It ends up being the same match we've always seen.
Yeah. Before I mention how Bayley won it, you mentioned, I mentioned first when she came out, she was dressed up as Macho Man Randy Savage, which was there were a lot of little nice touches or dedications to other wrestlers because this was the 30-year anniversary of WrestleMania 3, where it was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which some say is the greatest match ever.
Yeah.
So she comes out in that. Instead of doing Bayley to belly for her finisher, she does the Macho Man elbow drop on Charlotte, which was a nice touch. And that's how she wins it and retains her title. Mm-hmm. The one thing I think you'll remember the most out of this was with Bayley, which you said you can tell she's wicked nervous.
Yeah.
What did she do in the beginning when she came down to the ring?
She slipped right down the ringside.
She had that giant jacket, just like Macho Man, and it was a little too long, but she caught herself.
She caught herself, yeah.
But like you said, I mean, it's her first WrestleMania.
It was.
And no offense, but we'll mention this at the end of the show about the look of WrestleMania. That ramp was a holy crap.
It was a long ramp.
So, being the fact she only slipped once.
I mean, you could have probably hatched a 5K egg down that ramp.
Exactly. So, Bayley retains her title. The next match was my goosebump match. I mean, talking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. Let's
talk about the setup of this match.
So, originally it's supposed to be a triple threat ladder match for the Raw Tag Team Championships. It's Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the club, versus Enzo and Cass, versus Sheamus and Cesaro. It's been setting up the Raw before they ended up doing the whole ladder thing because they were using ladders. Mm-hmm. Sheamus ended up having to get 16 stitches across his eye.
Of course.
All of a sudden, New Day, the hosts of WrestleMania, come out in their wrestling attire.
Yep.
And are announcing that there's one other team that is going to be in this, and it's going to be a fatal 4-way ladder match.
And here was why that setup is so good.
Because
everyone's like, oh, they're putting themselves in that match.
Exactly. And people thought that was going to happen even before they mentioned it. Yep. They come out before the match starts in the wrestling gear.
Yeah.
It's obvious they're going to be in. And all of a sudden, the greatest music in wrestling tag team history hits. And that is the Hardy Boys.
Yes.
They have returned to the promised land. I'm not kidding. The goosebumps on my arm were so big. I was so giddy. You remember we filmed, I think, AJ Styles coming to the Rumble, and it was amazing.
Yes.
I think I screamed even louder because I'm a huge... The Hardy Boys are my favorite tag team ever.
Of course.
And I loved it because no one expected them to show up. Everyone knew they left TNA and they're in Ring of Honor, but it's been maybe a month, and they even said in Ring of Honor to the audience they're not going to WWE right now. They might later on down the road. It was great.
Yeah.
And what's great about what's funny about the fans sometimes is they'll take things that wrestlers do on other shows and bring them to these shows. Like people are doing the no, no, no and the yes, yes, yeses in TNA. Well, in TNA with the Hardys, they're doing the broken Hardys, where Matt Hardy is always constantly going delete, 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 and Jeff Hardy is obsolete, obsolete. The entire arena is doing the delete chant. Which is great. And then Matt Hardy plays on that, and he starts doing it in the ring. And so what happens is they win the tag team titles, which was great. And Matt Hardy's doing it on the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
I could watch that match over and over. It wasn't a long match. It's only 11 minutes.
Yep.
But it was worth it.
It was a good match.
I mean, I loved it. Jeff will mention, doesn't care about the tag team titles. No. Jeff Hardy finds the biggest ladder that anybody can find. You could hide that ladder under 1,000,000 pounds of concrete. Who the heck knows? And he could find it.
Oh, he'll sniff it out.
He finds this 25-foot ladder and swanton bombs off it onto Sheamus and Cesaro through another ladder. And it's funny because he's standing on top of that on the outside of the ring, yet he's already now taller than the belts hanging in the ring. But it gave Matt a chance to go up and get the title belts. So, thank you, Hardys. I cannot wait to watch
the Hardys don't need another WrestleMania moment. But Jeff's going to take the opportunity to keep making WrestleMania moments.
Do you remember?
That swanton off to nail Cesaro was amazing.
Do you remember exactly what I said needs to happen at a Hall of Fame with 3 certain tag teams?
Yes.
Explain.
Why am I explaining? It's your idea.
Okay.
Sheesh.
I brought up to you
This was your spot.
I brought up to you that this needs to happen. Edge and Christian are retired. The Dudleys are retired. I think the Hardy Boys probably have another year or 2 in them.
Maybe.
When they retire, it needs to be one Hall of Fame dedicated to those 3 tag teams.
Yeah.
All 3 of those tag teams need to go into the Hall of Fame all at the same time.
Yeah.
It would just be an amazing sight. Put up, for crying out loud, have all of them come out and say their speeches with a table, a ladder, and a chair behind them also.
That'd be kind of cool.
That will be the greatest.
They should put a chair and put like a face on it and have the chair introduce them out.
Edge would join an elite class with only one other person.
Yeah.
As a 2-time Hall of Famer. Ric Flair.
Yep.
So it would be, to me, the greatest Hall of Fame induction ceremony ever. Mm-hmm. So, moving on. At this point in the night, without the pre-show matches being known, because we hadn't watched those, you are 0 for 7 in having your favorite people.
Man, I've had a rough night, didn't I?
For having your favorite people win. You were rooting for Enzo and Cass. You were rooting for Sasha Banks, Chris Jericho, Shane McMahon. I mean, you were just doing a horrible job.
I was having a rough night.
So, next we have the... what do we have? No, this was not the shortest match. This was the second shortest match at 9 minutes and 40 seconds. The mixed tag team match.
Yes.
Your boy Miz against mine, John Cena, and their wives, you can say.
Can now.
Hint, hint. It was a mixed tag team match. Miz and Maurice versus Nikki Bella and John Cena.
Let's not even talk about the match. Let's talk about the setup of this match.
Yeah,
the giant setup for one simple reason.
We can turn back the time on this show. You asked me on this show. You said, "Why is this match even happening?"
Yes,
and you got your answer during the promos.
Yes, it was just. I don't know why it's happening, and I feel let down. I think because it's John Cena.
You feel let down?
One of the greatest superstars out there, and he went down to this kind of match. Just for this kind of setup. Mm-hmm. It seems kind of, this could happen on Raw. Let's do it on Raw, They could have had that match the night after
yeah, but I mean, it's WrestleMania. You want to do this at WrestleMania.
What we're talking about is John Cena and Nikki Bella won their match.
Girl Nikki.
And then John Cena got on one knee.
Did what he said he'd never do.
Right. He proposed, and it would have been so great. She said no. How awesome
I was waiting for it to happen.
No, John! I want a kid. Then walk off. That would have been so
I was
great.
waiting for it to happen. My whole thing is, it'd be so funny if Brie didn't know he was going to propose because she's watching it at home. And then she calls up Danielle. How come you didn't tell me? I didn't know.
Maybe she didn't know.
Who knows? The worst thing out of this match was Maurice. What was the whole point? She didn't do a thing. Worthless.
Well, in hindsight, when she was an active wrestler, she wasn't all that good anyways.
The best part of the promo I had to make you watch prior to the match was a couple nights ago on SmackDown, John Cena getting right into Miz's face, and Miz and Maurice are ripping on Nikki, how she wants children, and they don't have children. And like Cena says, yeah, well, you guys have been married for what? How long? And how many children do you have? Oh, the math. 0 and 0. He smacks Miz in the nether region and says, "What you doing, boy? Shooting blanks?"
Yeah, right?
That was priceless. And they didn't show what I told you they needed to, which was Miz ripping on Cena about filming movies, coming back, coming back. He names off like 20 different guys who do it. And then he says, oh, that's right. You do it too. Only problem is you make crappy bootleg movies off my good movies. Hence the Marine.
Yeah, which is, I don't know.
It's true, though. Marine 1 is the best out of all of them.
Marine, yeah. The problem with WWE films is they always are ending. That's the problem with all their movies.
Yeah, so.
The ending of the movie is always terrible.
So it was a horrible match. Let's move on. The longest match of the night at 25 and a half minutes was the non-sanctioned match between Seth Rollins and Triple H.
Right.
I was shocked that this was the longest match.
It was way too long.
A lot of things could have happened in this match. We're being told we have to hurry up here, so we have to hurry this up. Could have been better. You rip on Seth Rollins not playing the role of the injured face.
That was the worst part. That he did not sell his knee at all.
Yep.
That was the worst part.
But I mean, there was a lot of good things. The funniest part was when Seth's pulling weapons out from underneath the ring, and he pulls out the sledgehammer, and Triple H looks over like, "Ooh," with this big grin on his face.
Better idea.
Great entrance for Triple H, though. He rides out on his motorcycle with Stephanie to a police escort.
Yeah.
So I just want to go quick through the rest of these matches because I want to talk
let's
something.
fly through it.
Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. Brock Lesnar wins, obviously. I'm glad, though, Goldberg got like 3 amazing spears in. But again, Brock Lesnar. Woo! Suplex.
It was a terrible match.
Crap.
It was a terrible match.
Naomi won the 6-pack challenge. Yep. So good that she did. The final match was No Holds Barred that just got announced, which was Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. Moving quickly, Roman Reigns beats Undertaker.
Yep.
It wasn't the match that was the best part of that match. The wrestling match wasn't the best part of the overall part of theirs. It was the ending.
That match had a lot to desire. Roman dropped the ball, well, I counted at least 4 separate times. And he really dropped the ball on the end of that match. It looked terrible.
Mm-hmm. Before I finish with that, I've skipped a match. Randy Orton beat Bray Wyatt for the world title.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Hits the RKO out of nowhere. But it was those weird maggots and cockroaches that showed up on the ring. That was kind of funny. But the best part of the Undertaker Roman Reigns match is, I have some students that were asking me about it, and I said, the reason this match was the main event is because this was Undertaker's very last match.
Yeah.
He does his salute. He puts his hat and his cloak and his mitts on the ring, walks out, walks to his path, and he's lowered under the ring. That's it.
Yeah.
So, at a WrestleMania, with a little bit of time we have left, I have to mention the best thing out of this for me. It was in Orlando. What's significant with Orlando? Universal Studios. They made the entrance ramp look like Universal Studios with the giant globe. Mm-hmm. It looked like roller coasters and rides in the background. Amazing. That's what I love about a great pay-per-view, is what the entrance ramp looks like.
I said that for years.
But there was something that you really like that happens more, and that is with their entrances. We saw a lot of gimmicks going on with the entrances. You had the police escort for Triple H, all on motorcycles. One of the awesome ones was Randy Orton with the walking Viper.
Yeah,
that was cool. The ramp, this 1/4 mile length ramp, whenever Randy Orton was walking, the Viper on the ramp would follow. Mm-hmm. So it's like he was, you said, riding the Viper.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I'm trying to think of some others that happened.
I'm not sure why he did this, but it was all right, I guess, when Seth Rollins came out with the
torch. Yeah, and he lit the ramp, and the ramp lights up in flames.
Yep. And then fireworks go off.
One other one before we finish up was, you thought this was very classy, and that was Sasha Banks.
Yep.
She's known as the boss.
Yeah.
She had a chauffeur.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Very classy.
Yeah.
So.
And Roman Reigns punching the stage.
Yeah, he does his Superman punch where he cock locks and loads it,
Yep.
punches the ramp, and it all cracks.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Really quickly, anything you want to add before we finish?
No. I mean, it's not enough time.
It isn't. If you get a chance, go watch the Encore WrestleMania. So thank you guys for joining us on our anniversary show of Legend of the Nerds. It's been the 2 amazing, great years, and we hope we'll be here for even 2, 3, 4, 5 more years.
We'll see what happens.
Don't forget, watch this episode and every other episode on our Facebook and YouTube pages at Legends of the Nerds. Follow us on Twitter at KrillinMan. And we got some on our next show, we might talk a little Marvel.
Yep.
Where will Marvel and Netflix be going with the Defenders? And a little bit more on the Flareverse because we need to catch up on it.
Yes. And also TNA. But I want to do a little bit TNA stuff
A little
too.
TNA. So again, thanks for joining. And remember, stay nerdy.